Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and the episode you are about to listen to was recorded live at BroadwayCon in New York City in the Marriott Marquis in a room that happened to be called the Winter Garden, which was perfect for us. This was on Sunday, July 23rd, and we had some amazing guests that you're going to hear from. We had one of the most incredible debates about some very, very, very random parts of cats, some of the lore and the history and the fun and the canon, and we just had a blast. So what you're hearing is going to be in front of a live audience, so you will hear the audience. We talk to the audience. You'll be able to hear some of their questions, some of their thoughts, and we had the most amazing event live at BroadwayCon. So please enjoy this episode. Know that this was recorded with a lot of people and live, so you will hear some of the background noise and a lot of other stuff, but enjoy the episode.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and thank you for being live at BroadwayCon. We are excited. We are in the most appropriately named room, the Winter Garden, and I am very excited to have this amazing group of panelists with me today. I'm actually going to let you all introduce yourselves so you can say who you are and maybe your cat's relationship, because all of you have some ties to cats.
Yes, hi, I'm Jonalyn Saxer. I was a swing in the most recent revival of Cats on Broadway. I covered Bomb Ballerina, Demeter, Cassandra, Tantamile, and Jenny Any Dots.
Wow. I'm Will Anderson. I run a theater content creation brand with my wife Rachel Joyce called The Theater Lovers, and I was in Cats as a kid and then was in a regional production as a swing, and just Cats was the literal first Broadway show I ever saw.
Love it. I'm Hank Santos. I was just Rum Tum Tugger on the 6th national tour. I also covered Bomb Ballerina, Demeter, Cassandra, Jenny Any Dots, and one more than she did.
Super impressive. I am Rachel Joyce, the aforementioned other half of the Theater Lovers. I was running the Cats tour social media of the last leg of the tour. So this is my first time meeting Hank in person, but we have talked a lot. Team Tugger.
And this is the first time I've had all of them on as guests before. First time any of us have met in person too.
This is also true.
Super exciting to have everyone here. We're going to do something a little different this year. The past Broadway cons, we've just debated the jellicle choice. If you know my stance is I don't think Grisabella should be the right cat to die. So I've argued that at length over the years. But we want to do something a little different this year because I realized over 125 episodes that I've accidentally sparked some controversy with the fans, because there's not a consistent opinion on some of the headcanons. And so what we want to do today is we're going to do an old school style debate. So I've got two teams. I've got Team Tugger, and I've got Team Bomb Ballerina. And we are going to throw out some of the most controversial or mixed opinion views of cats. And then whoever's most passionate is going to raise their hand, and you'll get to pick the side you want to argue, and the other group is going to argue the other side. And then our wonderful Alan Seals and I will be Old Deuteronomy, and we will judge who wins. So get ready. I want to start with the first one that actually sparked this idea, which is I made a meme about Demeter and Bomb Ballerina's sexual energy, and then I had a lot of people say they're sisters, and then I had a lot of people say they're not sisters. So, and I threw it up on social media, and I got a complete 50-50 split. So that is going to be our first argument. Are Bomb Ballerina and Demeter sisters or friends?
I'll say strongly.
I was going to say.
I will take the friends side.
Okay, we got friends arguing here. What's the argument for friends?
I think with all the history between them, if you added in the relationship of sisters, with Demeter being caught with Macavity, I think like sisterhood, you would have a little bit more protection. You would have a, no, don't come here with me and Macavity. No, don't do this. Like it'd be more protective. Instead, they kind of both went through the same thing. And I just think as friends they would have done that. And Bomb is still a little protective of Demeter. Demeter has all her PTSD stuff, like, you know, not ever said in any of the lyrics. We all just know this.
None of this is ever said in the lyrics.
No, that's my favorite part about
all
Cats.
of these questions are not covered in the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
We just feel the
What did I get my BFA
lyrics.
for?
It's just obvious.
I feel that dramaturgically it makes sense.
Yes. And so I think dramaturgically with their relationships, I just feel like it's a friends thing, not sisters. Because I think familial, you have more of a fight and a control, and friends, like sometimes you let your friends also get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, Hank, you played both Bomb and Demeter. So.
Yes.
Famously.
Covered, among others.
So you're gonna argue sisters now.
I guess yeah. Let me take out Hank's actual opinion because I think they're friends, which actually doesn't work
So
for the
just
panel.
Abandon all of your
So
thoughts and feelings.
I'm gonna drop in real quick
Yeah.
as somebody who would take the sisters route, and it would make sense. I see like a older younger sister vibe between Bomb and Demeter. I mean, there's definitely like a protective nature of Bomb that she puts over Demeter. Like Demeter is definitely like there's moments where she's a lot stronger and sort of to herself, but then you have any McCavity scare and immediately that goes away. And we had a lot of moments where it was like, you know, you see Bomb take her stance over Demeter, which is something that a sister would do. So that's my argument.
Love it.
And you can take that with a grain of salt. Because I don't even buy it. I think they're friends.
Anything to add, Rachel?
I have a chaotic thought, and I'm going to put
boy.
on my thinking cap for this.
There we go. Ready.
She's waiting for hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been planned for days. Okay. Thank you for laughing at it. I think sisters. I think they both dated McCavity, and it's that sister rivalry. You stole my man. Terrible. We hate to see it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chaotic. I came to bring the chaos this morning. So.
They don't get any less chaotic of Canon, so get ready.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right, Alan. Actually, audience too. Where are we voting? Are we voting over here on Team Bomb Ballerina? Show of
I'm
hands.
going to step forward and say that they were lovers.
Lovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friends and lovers.
Sisters, we're close.
Okay. Any Team Tugger votes? All right. Seems like it is the friends/lovers is the answer to this one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Friends, lovers, and
I'll take that.
All right.
I will take it.
yeah.
The next one is who is going to be in charge next. So there's a theory that it's going to be Monkish Trap, and then there's a theory that I will call the sports betting term the field, which is everyone else. Either Old Deuteronomy doesn't leave, or somebody else, like a Cassandra or somebody else. So is it Monk, or is it somebody else that's going to be next in charge of the Jellicle tribe? Who wants to start?
I'll take that. I'll field this one because I have a lot of opinions on it. So I think there's a hierarchy of like an order, so to speak. Obviously, Monk is first. I think Monk wants to be first. I think, dude, it's the obvious choice. But then beneath him, I think Plato is like a close second. So if something were to happen to Monk, if he wasn't able to take over for whatever reason, say he lost in the cavity fight, should drastically change the show. I think Plato would have stepped in. I think third in command is actually Tugger, but I think Tugger just wants it because he wants it, and then once he gets it, he's like, this sucks, dude. Like, I have to like command people and, you know, like be the leader. Like, I just want to have fun, you know what I mean? So I think it's there, and I think he's like a legitimate choice at a point, but I don't think it would last very long.
He's Prince Harry.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Wants the power, not the responsibility.
Okay, so your vote's Monk. Do you want to take the
Okay,
field?
I'm going to throw a wrench in this, and I'm going to say I don't think any of those are actually in line to take the position of Old Deuteronomy. I feel like Gus would be next. Like old wise, like I feel like Gus is kind of there, and if you need someone to sit on stage at intermission and be like, oh, I just feel like that would be Gus. I feel like Monk is occupying a separate position of like MC leader of ceremonies. And like maybe when Monk gets older, somebody else will take the MC position and he will then like take a break before taking over the old Duke position. I feel like those are two separate, it's not like a line thing, because I just feel like, you know, old dude, like he's old. And I feel like he's not, you know, it's like, if old dude passed and suddenly somebody the same age as everybody else is like, let me decide. I just feel like that wouldn't fly. And so the reasonable next step would be Gus.
It's replacing the Pope with an even older Pope.
Yes.
It's gonna be the best week of Gus's life.
Yeah.
I think Dudekins was young at one point when he took the throne. You know what I mean? Because everyone, you have to build that respect over a long period of time. You know, and he's obviously been around for so long that like, and man, Gus doesn't remember dinner. You know what I mean? So like that would be like when Creed took over on The Office. You know what I mean? Like that would just be nuts.
Is old Deuteronomy ever leaving?
I don't think so.
Right.
Okay.
I don't.
That's on your vote here, then, because
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's ever. If we're gonna believe that like somebody just lifts up to the sky, I'll believe that like dude just like is there. Yeah. Like, is dude even alive? Is he, you know, some kind of specter?
That's question number 4.
Oh,
It's coming.
We'll get to it.
We're gonna get to
talk
that
about
part of the argument here soon. Okay, we're gonna take votes. Team Bob Bowie, Team Tugger. Team Tugger. Tugger. Okay.
I'm gonna mark a tally
let's
right
hear it.
there. I'll just take
Let's hear
that right there.
My canon is that Monkustarp is actually old Deuteronomy's son.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's where I feel like he would be next in line because I mean, if he's his son.
Nepotism.
He's the eldest boy.
yeah.
He's the eldest.
He's the eldest boy.
And if there's
I can
one
see
thing
that.
Broadway loves, it's nepotism. Ooh. Can I actually say that?
You'll never work again.
We will edit this part out of the episode. No. All right. Next one, and I'm going to turn to you because we've discussed this, and this is the one that has all of the, or not all, a majority of the fan fiction and the majority of the fan art is Tugger and Mistopheles. Are they best friends, boy bandish, or
Man,
are
they
they
ain't
together?
best friends. You know what they
Or
are.
are they together? So that's gonna throw it out there. This one's very split, or at least the art. Well, the art's not split. The art is very clear one way.
The internet agrees.
There is
consensus.
zero chance of debating this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to field this question. I'm gonna lob this one off to my left here.
It's tactful. Exes.
X's. Okay. Oh. What a wrench.
No, they're definitely they know each other.
Okay.
The tour put me and our Mistopheles Ibn together as roommates, like
Wink.
early on, and I was like, that seems like a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you couldn't have put me with like, I don't know, Mungo Jerry or somebody. You know what I mean?
Where do you think that comes from? Like, as far as people shipping the two characters?
Who is the most opposite from Tugger? Like in almost every conceivable way. Like a short, well put together, quiet cat. You know?
Yeah.
Because like all the other cats in a way could have something related to Tugger. Like Mungo Jerry's a little chaotic. There's like a playful side of like Pouncival, or like an aggressive side to Tumble Brutus. Like, but Tugger, in liking things that aren't like the exact opposite of what you want him to like, it would be the almost mute, quiet little ballet cat. You know what I mean?
Do you do hit the introduction to his song too, right? Because that's where I think a lot of it stems from.
Sure.
Yeah, his introduction.
Okay. I want boy
It's my
band
man.
version now. Let's hear the boy band version.
I think it could be viewed as Tugger sings the song, Mistopheles has the moves. It could be like a Milli Vanilli moment. It could be
What a
like
reference.
everyone has their strengths. What was it? Which one of NSYNC was like the really great dancer? They all danced very well. This isn't
I mean,
a
Joey Fatone danced harder than anybody else.
Yes, to
I'll
quote
take that to
Cody
the grave.
Rigsby.
Drastically off topic.
Yeah. But it's supporting each other platonically, and then like if that leads to something else, cool. But it definitely starts as I can't even remember the point. Was it? It was Friends boy band versus. Was the answer
Lovers.
Was the option lovers?
Yeah. So you're on the boy band side.
I guess I'm on the boy
Yeah.
band
So you
side.
went
I'll
really
also
vanilla.
say, I think it can be dependent on the production and who's playing Mistopheles and Tugger, because I think, except for the introduction of the song, which you could say, like, why is Tugger introducing this song? Does he decide, like, I'm going to introduce something, I'm going to introduce the magic one, haha, you know, like, he could decide to take over, or they could be like a boy band, like, because Mistopheles, like, doesn't really say anything except presto, you know, doesn't help the Friends case. But, you know, there's so much of what happens, I think, because in our production, Tyler and Ricky shared a dressing room and played into that, I think, and had fun with that. And so when you look at the side moments, the moments where we have a little bit more freedom on the stage, I think it's up to the actors to decide that.
Okay.
Choose your
I
own
like
adventure.
it.
To be fair, it was never explicitly said. It was like someone showed us the Tumblr one day and we ran with it. Like it was like.
It's not something taught by the associates.
No, yeah, Chrissy Cartwright never said anything about that. Like, let's just make that very clear for her perspective.
As I dug into the fandom, it was the first thing that I found. Is like, if you search, and I took the boy band route because I saw Leona Lewis and I thought I saw the X Factor, which has a history of putting singers together. So I was like, oh, Tugger and Mistopheles are going to be the next One Direction. And but I didn't think about the relationship until I started reading the headcanon, and then it's a lot. It's a deep dive. If you find the fan fiction, it's all of it. And there are some 20, 30,000 word stories about the relationship. So feel free to dig in on your own time. Let's move on to the question we were actually just a little bit discussing, which is Old Deuteronomy. With his character, is he wise and all-knowing, or is he more sinister, serial killer-ish?
I heard an easy. Can we get? I gotta know.
Wait,
now.
get
I'm
up
so
here.
hooked. Yeah.
I feel like that's a hard question as somebody who was in the show to be asked, because also I will say I knew nothing about cats before getting cast in it. I literally stood in the back watching the show when I replaced him, and I was like, who's Cassandra? I can't see her. And so a lot of my opinions are based on then my actor work of my onstage experience of being the characters with the other characters, and there's just so many. Our old Duke Q is just so kind and loving and generous on stage and off, and it's like we're all so excited, and it's like he gave so much back to us. So I will strongly say wise, all-knowing.
Okay.
And I would argue that's how they get you.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
It's a cult.
They
There
said
we
the
go.
same thing about
This is
Ted
the-
Bundy.
The easy from the crowd is immediately cold. Okay. So you're going to argue the serial killer version.
Oh yeah, I think that's obvious. He kills a cat once a year. It's just like willy-nilly. He makes them put up. Okay, so I feel almost like I don't know if you guys are fans of like RuPaul's Drag Race, but it's very much like when they do the episodes that are like variety shows, but instead of lip syncing for your life, you're lip syncing for your death. So, Old Deuteronomy is the RuPaul of the Cats universe.
Are you calling
And RuPaul is a
cult
serial
leader?
Wow, nope, didn't think that through. Please, RuPaul, I love you so much. If your RuPaul's not listening.
This side of the table's never gonna work again.
It's been really
We're
nice.
quickly burning bridges over on this side.
Yeah. When I said chaotic, I really meant it. No, I think Old Deuteronomy is very clearly unwell.
Okay. Well,
Everyone leaves the stage, and he's like, I think I'm going to sit right here.
we'll invite people up to come take a selfie with him at intermission. Well, I know we're one person in the crowd's voting, but how's the rest of the crowd voting? Are we voting on Team Tugger or Team Bomb Ballerina?
I feel like movie version there.
Okay.
But if we're not even talking about that, then I'm
Stage version, movie version. Okay.
So you're saying if you've seen Cats, you're going up and taking a picture with the cult leader. So I'm just saying you are also a part of this discussion.
Yeah,
If you thought that while watching the show, would you have gone up at intermission?
He's so charismatic.
Yeah.
I think too, just like a quick like not separate. Running the social media and interacting with fans, it's very obvious to me that it's a cult. So maybe that's where I'm like coming from,
True.
that, and not in a bad way, like fun cult. Like,
Yeah.
Cats cult. I'm team Cats cult.
It's a cult where they just dress the same.
Team
It's like
Jellicle.
outfits.
Yeah,
You are
people
a gel cult.
passionate, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, you are a Jellicle.
For sure.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. That's that. We're not covering
Yeah,
it
yeah,
here
no,
today.
we don't have enough time actually.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the questionable relationship. So, Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Teaser. Are they siblings, or are they relationship, or friends, or relationship?
I have a thought.
Okay.
Oh, may I? Sorry. I feel like you don't do a cartwheel like that with anybody but a sibling.
Oh,
That's
Speak for yourself, bro.
Okay, you know what? How embarrassing.
That's so.
I feel like that's the type of routine that you put together to convince your parents like to give like you have like a sleepover with your cousin. Like it's like that kind of. I feel like there's no universe outside of that, so that's where I stand. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm taking the stance for both of us.
I was gonna say,
It's so funny, yo. I didn't even think about that. I
your
was like-
cast definitely did not agree with that stance, too.
No, our cast did, and it drove me crazy because I was like, "That's wrong, dude."
They went with
brother sister.
No, they went with they were
Oh
trying
no,
to
no,
win
no!
Jenny's.
You're right. I said
approval.
they're brother sister, so I agree.
Yeah.
I'm relieved.
Okay.
My opinions are very easily swayed.
I do
no
believe
thoughts
it
of
is
my own.
taught and it is imposed upon the actors that they are not siblings.
Wow.
Wow.
That's my
spoken
bad.
by the official.
That is what our Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Teaser said.
Right. So and that's what our Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Teaser said, and I've heard the actors be like, they're not siblings. Why does everyone Tantamount and Corcopat are the siblings?
Right.
They're the twins.
Right.
Mungo,
But they were
Jerry, and
called the
Rumple Teaser
Chaos
are
Twins
not.
by a fan, and I was like, that is funny. Like, so I swore. Oh, dude, who's
Yeah,
just
but I
walked
believe
in?
it is taught that way. Yes.
I was like, what cat? What Jellicle cat is that?
It's from the Shrek universe.
No, you're right. They are taught that, and I
So I've never directed a production of Cats, but for the reasons that we have been taught, and again, most of the story, as I found out while doing it, is not in the script or the lyrics, but is just told to you. And I believe they are told they are not siblings.
Okay.
So that's my.
So it's official. So who in the crowd wants to vote against the production team who have blessed this? I mean, I have for most of my podcasts. So
They're like Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
see. I love
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
wait, no, I don't like that. Dude, I can't remember.
Bonnie and Clyde aren't siblings.
I know,
though.
I can't remember what my opinion
Yeah,
is.
you're not going to get a tally
I
here.
can't remember
That's
what I
okay.
thought about this. I argued this for so long on tour, and now I don't even remember what stance I took. Like,
That just means people have made some good arguments on both sides.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your cast definitely did not go siblings. They were
No, they
explicitly
were
trying to win
100%
Jenny's approval
Dating,
for them
cuddling. Yeah, it was.
That was
yeah.
the whole thing that they talked about.
Hot.
Yeah. I was like, that's weird. That's your brother.
I feel like if they were siblings, the crimes would be like, but like as a Bonnie and Clyde duo, like when you're in a relationship, the crimes are a little bit more like
Heightened.
heightened.
I think at one point I thought like, you know, in like Pulp Fiction, the beginning and the end, there's that couple that robs the diner. You know, like that was kind of the vibe I was getting too. I don't remember. I think I just heard Chaos Twins and I thought that was really funny. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we're voting on Team Bomb Ballerina on this one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
for
I mean,
you.
my thought was paper thin, so like,
I can't even remember.
Cartwheels.
the cartwheel.
Okay, let's talk about Grisabella. When she leaves the tribe, does she go to be part of McCavity's crime gang, or does she go somewhere else to do something else? I'll leave that part very open-ended.
Do you mean like when she left originally?
When she left originally.
Yes, I'll stand firmly on she left to join McCavity's gang. She
Okay.
left to be with McCavity.
Okay, so she's crime gang, or just to be with him.
To be with him, because that's why Bomb Ballerina and Demeter hate her, because she went to be with McCavity. They both were at one point pulled in to the McCavity group, gang, what can you call it, and they both were able to pull themselves out. And one of the reasons they pity her but they also hate her is that she is everything they were able to not be. She was the future that they avoided, and they looked down on her because she wasn't able to pull herself out and rejoin the Jellicle cats.
Okay.
My theory
Where did she go?
is that Grisabella, get this, is Monk and Tugger's mom.
Yes.
That's what I have heard. And we shun her not because we know why we shun, but because we've been told just throughout the tribe the whole time, we don't talk to her. So like there was like an experience, I guess, where either she, as the glamour cat, left and pursued a different lifestyle that wasn't sticking to the tribe and raising Monk and Tugger and McCavity, the third dude bro. And they shun her just because it's like, that's like the unspoken thing in the tribe is like, she's not allowed in. And then when she comes back and talks about memory and regret and all those things, it's like, oh, okay, forgiveness is key, you know.
So that makes Grisabella and Old Deuteronomy your parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mind's blown. I'm glad you went first.
But you never actually said where she went.
Off stage.
Just okay. Stage left. Stage left. Okay. She
Completely
dances
reasonable
in the
answer.
opening number as Baby Grizz, and then she leaves.
Yeah.
Comes back. She's in the ceiling, right? As your meme, waiting.
Just hanging up.
Just
in the
hanging out in the
drywall.
ceiling.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay. Any audience thoughts? We got anybody that strongly?
Stage.
I feel very strongly about this. Okay, so I have a theory that Grisabella went to go kind of pursue like a Gus the theater cat moment and go do theater, and she kind of fell into like a wrong path. And I have like a Grisabella might have been a sex worker at one point, for sure. And so if the tribe didn't agree with that when she came back, they probably shunned her because they didn't agree with the choices she made. But I don't think that, I think what happened is she didn't just go decide to do it because her time in the theater was not what she wanted it to be. She kind of just fell into it. And I would assume that because she left, she had nowhere to go. And so she didn't expect fanfare, but I think she was just looking for her family to come back and accept her. But I feel very strongly about Grisabella as
Yeah.
as a whole. Yeah.
Would you say she flitted about the no man's land?
Yes. Yes.
Who knows the lyrics?
I was literally just going through that because that's where, like, that section is my main point of like Demeter and Baum are singing that, and the reason they sing that is because they have a shared kind of past with Grisabella. So I do think she wanted the no man's land. I think McCavity somehow got her into, maybe was her what's that called? This is not a right word. Sugar daddy? No, that's the wrong word. Pimp. There we go. I was like, that's not the, it is early on my day off. Words are not coming. And he got tired of her, and she kind of like, again, probably went into sex work, wandered the no man's land of Tottenham Court, whatever, you know, and kind of fell out of that and into disrepute and disrepair.
I kind of thought the Baum and Demeter thing was like, because Baum and Tugger are often shipped, and Demeter and Monk have been shipped in the past. So it's kind of like we can be disgusted with how she treated it, because we never really, I mean, Monk does, like, but I think he knows. I think Tugger's feelings were a little spared when it comes to the story of his mom, because it was never like, that was always just like in the back when she was on, and I was like, oh, gross. And Bunk was always like, you know, and so I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like, you treated those guys so horrible, like you're not welcome here anymore, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always thought that Grisabella left to be a performer, and then had her, which were above the Once Upon a One More Time, but I always thought she had like her Bald Britney moment, where that was like she was going through it, and that was the moment where she's like, I gotta come back and have my redemption story. So that's how, I think it's a little bit of both on these, but I think it's contested. So it sounds like, though, the McCavity part is true.
I was told by the associate for that singing section, well, you guys, Demeter and Baum, you guys, I played both of them, so,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember my intro.
Because I remember thinking and I just kept getting the note no, Demeter doesn't feel that way. It's Bomb feels this way and Demeter feels this way because she couldn't make, Bomb's proud of herself because she made it away from the cavity and Grisabella couldn't do that and now she's lost her life. And Demeter feels for her a little bit more than Bomb because Demeter also got wrapped up and has had a Bomb pulled Demeter out of that situation. Demeter didn't leave, but Grisabella didn't have anybody to do that for her. So I was told by an associate that, so.
Okay.
That's always going to be my fight.
Again, who wants to argue?
I would like to
against?
call Cap on that.
Cats. Cat's cap.
Cat's Cap. Who would like to argue against producers again? Okay, team
What does
Bombalina,
that mean
team.
called cap?
Huh?
What does that mean, cap?
It means you're lying, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're all learning today.
Means I don't buy it.
Oh my god.
I was hearing call cat, and I was like, you can't call a cat. They won't respond to that.
All right, where's our vote? We're going more. Your strikes are getting.
I think I vote with her too.
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't think I've been keeping score.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my own score.
Hank's notepad is blank. Just for the record.
Yeah, that one tally was funny once, and now I'm like,
Just one line.
Okay, we're gonna go back to relationships. So Skimbleshanks and Tugger, are they frenemies or are they friends?
I like frenemies.
Okay.
Yeah. Only because there was our Skimble, Jax Zamborski, was very big on, in the beginning of the show, hated Tugger's guts, and then towards the end, his feature, we had so many moments where it was kind of winning him over sort of towards the end. That's case specific, I think, but it was also in Tugger there's a moment where in the choreo he runs up and gives Tugger a little kick, and Cass and Vic hold him back and throw him back and they are on Tugger's arms, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't know, I kind of
This question actually comes from your cast because of
of
Tyler, and because of some of the decisions Tyler made with Skimble. They were friends, and so they had more friendly moments than normally you would see. And fans started to notice that, started to ask hey, these two aren't supposed to be friends, but they seem friends. So that's where this question actually stems from. That's the backstory and the history of it. And Tyler has answered a little bit of his version of it. But
What
did
was
you know-
Tyler's answer?
Tyler they were really good friends off stage.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, and again, this
so
is
they
one
had
of
a lot
those,
of trouble.
it depends on there is a certain amount of freedom. We are given, again, certain relationships that they're these are the young cats and these are the older cats, and this is your best friend, you have this history, but if it's not explicitly stated, it is up to the actors. And just with any musical creation, you can, if you have the freedom not to stand next to somebody you don't like, or you have an option to stand next to your best friend, you're gonna take it because you're doing the show 8 times a week and it's more fun to improv with someone you really love. So I'm sure that also was a part of that.
Okay.
It's even with the guidelines set by the creators of a piece, there is still so much freedom in the performers, of course, but also in the way that the audience interprets that information. I don't want to say, but we can say jellicle death of the author, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so what is my side? Friends? Not friends.
You're on non-friends.
Okay.
Non-friends.
Right, you chose
I
friends.
had kind of a funny experience though. I showed up to rehearsals. I had 9 days of rehearsal before I started the show because I was doing another show overseas in Japan, and when I actually found out that I was gonna be Tugger, I was like, I'm not gonna make it, because I'm way overseas, and my show doesn't end until the end of August, and they started September 2nd or something. So I had to show up really late. So they were just concerned with you're gonna stand here and you're gonna move here and then you're gonna do this dance and then just pick whatever else, you know what I mean? It was just make your own adventures sort of with the guidelines of the validity and the general structure of the backstory. So there was a lot of things that we were doing early on that were wrong, because I was
There's no right and wrong.
There's no right
except
and wrong.
Except for one.
There is. You'll get a note.
Against what some people would go with, and it evolved in a way. Also as your relationships with the people playing the cats evolve. You're like, yo, this would be so funny if like right here we did this, or if we did this instead, or whatever, you know. So like early on, I don't even think I noticed Skimble ever.
That was my question. I was like, do they? I was thinking, do they interact at all?
Rarely.
He calls Tugger a terrible bore, right? That's the
No, that's in ours that was Alonzo and Monk.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so like rarely do we interact, but then like as you're doing, you know, as many shows as you do, and you get like an autopilot mode and you look for little things to keep it interesting that don't like ruin the show. Like you kind of are like, oh look, we can like wave at each other here, or we kind of have a moment here, or we do this and this. So like the relationship sort of evolved for us where it just became like, I was like, he hated my guts in the beginning, and then he did his number, and I was like, that train was sick, dude. And then like we're like, okay, what's up? And at the end, we actually even had in the receiving line at the end when Grizz is like shaking everybody's paw for some reason, like we're like
Good game.
We look at each other and we literally just go like. And that was it. And it was adorable, dude. Shout out Zam, dude. Shout out Jack Zamborski.
Because I will say, I could understand where frenemies come from, because I feel like Skimble and Jenny Anydots are kind of the like proper pair.
Yeah.
You know, like they're more the uptight, they take care of people, you know, they shush people away, they're like, you're misbehaving, and Tugger is like the biggest misbehavior of all. So I could see how you could make the choice as Skimble. I think definitely as Jenny, you're just like, Tugger, like, you know, but Skimble, they have that kind of like male cat maybe energy that's like, okay, but like, beer later, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now I'm very curious for both of you, Jonalyn and Hank. You said that you made some decisions, you kind of had some freedom. Is there ever any one that you made that all of a sudden the fans came out to you after and was like, no, that's not supposed to happen?
Oh God, yes. There was one specific one. Like it wasn't that often, but I think it was me and Tumble. Me and Tumble at first. So I think canonically, or like fan canonically, so non-canonically sometimes. Canonically. Look, dude, the fans have the power now, okay? The show's been around 40 years. They have it, all right? It's theirs. Tumble and Tugger don't like each other. And that was, like, always told to me. But me and our Tumble, Brendan Morin, was, like, we always had moments where we had fun, like, because he was really playing into the kitten part of it and was, like, super bubbly and energetic. And, like, there were choreographed moments where I, like, shoved him aside and we're like, dude, get out of here, you know what I mean? But we always, like, kind of had fun. And then I think we took a picture together backstage or something, and it went on Tumblr, and everyone was like, guess they resolved their differences. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, I was like, yeah, dude. Like, I was like, oh, we aren't supposed to like each other. So I went to his dressing room, and I said, dude, we gotta tone it down, man. Like, we're not supposed to like each other very much.
Too much.
And so, like, we just kind of stopped. We pumped the brakes on it. We were just like, all right, I'm gonna shove you here, dude, and you don't look at me. Like, so they corrected that pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so
Did you deal with any of that?
No, because I was constantly playing a different cat. I mean, I played Cass for like a month straight about, so that's the most comfy I got in one of my tracks. But I never had like fans or anything. The biggest thing we got in our cast is we got in trouble because we were like kind of fist bumping, because we'd all come up to each other and we'd be like, hey. And they're like, you can't do that. That was like our choreographer.
Okay.
Oh, that's bad, because we did that a lot.
Yeah, we got in trouble.
All right. Let's talk about one that I don't think has been brought up as much, but Buster Jones, who may or may not be in every production. Where is his money going? Is it to McCavity's crime gang, or is it to other places? Is he the funding, or is he not?
I've literally never thought about this, because half the time I forget that he's in the show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm still catching my breath at that number.
I'm pretty sure I made up this canon, by the way, so.
That's funny, though, dude. Like a penguin cat, like Tony Soprano cat.
Yeah.
That is funny,
He's the
dude.
money behind the crime gang.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. So
And is it family money? Like, where is it coming
I don't
from?
want to know where Buster's money comes
you're
from.
right.
I was like,
You're
it's
right.
like he has rich owners.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Family money, got it.
I'm kind of thinking of it like Buster Jones has a little Anna Delvey in him. where there's it's like none of the other cats, their financial status comes up, and he's like, I'm the richest cat, and everyone's like, well, I guess we believe you now. He walks the walk and talks the talk and knows where to be, but like,
I
is
love
money
that.
changing hands?
Can you do the accent?
But also, he's not really, he doesn't
No,
introduce
okay.
himself. He's introduced.
That's true.
Sure. So like your theory, Will, is that he's just pulling one over on everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow.
He's pulling a bigger heist than McCavity, but it's also like very small.
He's the real
It's a social
villain.
status heist.
Just
We never see him again, dude. He just dipped with the money.
He becomes
Gus.
He slowly becomes Gus. after that
Slowly
moment.
becomes backstage.
Yeah, backstage he becomes Gus next.
That's one of those, like, where did he come from? Off stage? Where does he go? Off stage.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
Did you
Thank you
also
for asking the real questions.
Yeah, somebody's got to cover this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Did you forget Buster Jones was in your cast?
Never, dude, because I did so Tugger wears in our version like high heels, and his main number, it's like a cowboy boot with a really high heel that totally kills your back. And then you go off stage, you change into jazz shoes because it's like a little bit easier to do the ball. And my quick change was always right next to Buster trying to get into Gus, and it was minimal space in some of these theaters, so I was always a front row seat for the chaos that was trying to get that gigantic overcoat off. So no, I never forgot Buster. He was right there, and I knew when he was pissed off.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
hell yeah.
it's if we really dig into the story of this, you can say whatever you want. Okay, I have two more, but I want to hear what else from the crowd. Is there any subplots or theories? You got some experts here that we haven't covered.
Is Bustifer funding the cult that Gus is grooming for?
Oh. What do y'all think?
Funding the gut.
Oh, sorry, not Gus, the dude is grooming.
Oh,
You know what? I'm gonna go yeah. Because this is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And, like,
Chaos
I want to believe it.
reigns.
So yes, I will absolutely go that route.
One of the most chaotic choices, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I guess, like, in the back of my mind and, like, the way you just, like, make it make sense when you're doing it is, I guess I just, like, decided that Buster Jones was one of the cats that had owners. And that he, like, stopped by the Jellicle Ball to be like, also me too. You know, and there's definitely certain cats that, like, have collars and some that don't very specifically. And so I don't remember if he had a collar or not, but I feel like he comes in and his owners are Upper East Siders, you know, like,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, I like these cool people, not me, bye, you know.
Ours had a collar that was like a fishbone.
Yeah.
And then like and okay, I want to get into this now because I'm stoked on this. I'm having so much fun. So like he at the end of his number, there's the siren scare, and Demeter's like McCavity, and we all go McCavity, and then he's like McCavity, Toodle Pip, and he dips, and then you never see him again. So I am with the fact that he's funding the dude thing because he's like, I gotta get out of here, man, because
They're gonna figure me out.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna figure me out.
All right. We're solving problems. I see a hand back there. Do you have a...
In your professional opinion, why do you think Grisabella was cast out of the tribe in the first place? Was it just like, did she betray somebody, or was it just a matter of like, oh, you're not pretty anymore, scram?
Ooh. Okay, so for just in case anybody didn't hear it, why did Grisabella leave? Was she shunned because she wasn't pretty enough, or because, what was the other?
Did she betray
She betrayed somebody. Yeah, she's okay.
In your professional opinion.
What do y'all think?
I'm hardly a professional, but I do think that
But you have an opinion.
Yeah. I got opinions. I think that, I think it goes back to her being the mother of some of the cats, and one of Duke's old flames cast out because she went to pursue this lifestyle that didn't work out for her, and abandoned the children in the process.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that discussion. I don't think she, like, did something, like, I think she left for the whole McCavity and the drugs and the everything and the, you know, whatever life, wandering. And they were like, okay, no, you chose that. You can't come back now. You know, like you made those decisions. Are you still in it? We don't know. You know, you don't look great. Like,
Okay.
if you go with the revival makeup.
Wow, you are ugly, dude. It's like, you are not getting close to me.
Well,
Thinking with the not pretty enough aspect, it's making me think of Bad Cinderella and how, with this homogeneity of most of the company, and then there's the one who is then ostracized and then redeemed at the end. There's a lot more in
also
common.
like Phantom. Or,
Yeah.
You know,
Andrew
Andrew
Lloyd Webber.
Lloyd Webber.
Yeah. Pick a show on a show.
that is the thesis of this podcast.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Andrew Lloyd Webber show. The one with the ugly outcast. Which one?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Great.
I mean, I always argue anything anti-Grisabella, so I think she left for the worst possible reason, so it makes it harder for me to accept her back.
Because she was bored.
Yeah.
Boring.
She was, I mean, there's a crime gang.
She left to do the Bad Cinderella workshop. Andrew Lloyd Webber, I love you, man. I'm available for hire if you're watching.
It's okay, he's not here.
We can hope.
You got one?
I have a question. If two cats during the Jellicle Ball end up having Jellicle kittens, are they born Jellicle kittens, or do they have to go through initiation to join the cult?
Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? Is that
Asking the important questions.
Are you born a Jellicle cat, or do you become a Jellicle cat?
Is it not a state of mind?
I think that's for Jellicle cats to decide. Frankly.
Who are we to judge?
I feel like there are kittens in the Jellicle tribe, so I feel like if you were to have a kittens, you know, they would be a part of it because there's still like, you know, Electra and Pouncible and Syllabub. Is that the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, you know, they are kittens and they're there, but they're also like not a part of the bigger decisions of things. They're kind of like, oh, we're having fun and we're being led around. So I feel like your kittens would fall into that. And then I feel like there are the younger cats who are kind of in transition into the older cats, and I would put Coracopat and Tantomile into that. Like they probably weren't born into the Jellicle tribe, but because of their special whimsical powers, I don't know, are part of it, if that makes sense. Like I could see like Pounce and Electra having been born in and are there, and so that's why they have the freedom to play, and like it doesn't get serious until it's really serious.
I think the secondary question of that is, if you were the choice and you get reborn, are you reborn back into the tribe or not? So who was last year's choice? Grisabella is wrongfully this year's choice. Who was last year's? Victoria's, I think, one of the very common answers.
Syllabub, too.
Syllabub?
Yeah.
Literally never
You
thought
see
of
Bill Bailey in the beginning of the revival version, and then never again. Bill Bailey is formerly known as Chorus Tugger. Now is canonically a different cat. Who I believe the name comes from the original Tumble Brutus.
It comes from one of the, I thought it comes from one of the poems.
Something like that, yeah. I think Tumble was called Bill Bailey in the original, and then they used Bill for, I don't know, man. But I was Bill Bailey for like 3 minutes in the beginning, and then you transition to Tugger, and you never see him again. So I'm like, that dude got it. He's.
Old
He was
Dude's
like-
in the opening too,
Yeah.
as another cat.
So is McCavity is
Victor.
Plato, right? And then
Well, McCavity's Play-Doh for like a
a lot
solid
of it.
portion.
Yeah. And then there's
And
Baby
Gus is a
Grizz.
different
Yeah,
cat.
oh yeah,
Gus
Gus
is-
is
Gus is Peter.
Peter.
What? Okay, so like Bill
Jellicle
Bailey
Pete.
and Peter, and then what's going on with the names? You know what I mean?
Coracopat,
It's like,
yeah.
They had just figured out that sort of naming thing. They were like, oh, dude, we can have different names.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
There's-
yeah.
They ran out of Scrabble letters, and they're like, is this a word?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Yeah, it's chaos, and they're like,
I firmly believe Peter is St. Peter, and he is brings somebody to the Jellicle Choice.
Sure.
Otherwise, I don't understand why he's there.
He's famously your least favorite cat,
He's
correct?
very famously my least favorite cat, yes. Very much so.
I mean, you could argue with the names, like, Bill Bailey was probably named by a person, whereas the cats with, like, the cuckoo banana names are just like, they're like, this is my name.
They have 3 names,
Well,
right? That's in the opening number? Yeah,
that's
so that's part of
That's
it.
also true. You're right.
Okay. All right, here we got the last 2. One debate I want to know is, do you think in the 80s, when this show was created, that any of the creative team thought a conversation like this would happen at BroadwayCon? Or do you think they knew when they wrote it? They're like, yeah, we're gonna spark some stuff.
That is, okay, so this is my hilarious dichotomy of being in the revival of Cats, is I don't really think Cats should be a musical. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how it was created. I don't know why. My family loves theater, and as a whole, we, like, hated Cats, so I was brought up to be like, that stupid musical. As I say this in front of a room full of Cats fans. And like, luckily, like, doing the show, like, you know, obviously I'm debating, like, where did Grisabella go? You know, it's like, especially as an actor, I think, and a dancer, we don't normally get shows like this where you can be one character with this huge backstory and then do like a 12-minute dance number at the end of Act 1. Like, you know, you don't just normally get to do that, and I think it's really amazing. But I always wonder, I'm like, were they sitting at the tech tables in the original production being like, yeah. And the only reason why I think that might have been the case is, you know, luckily Broadway is not like this anymore, and I hope I'm not going too out of the box by saying this, but I do believe everyone was just mostly on a lot of drugs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've been out of the box, too.
Yeah. Like, I was like, who thought? And I was like, oh, cocaine. But it's also created this great, amazing thing that everybody loves, and I also think it's like a brilliant thing. Like, so I also think my history with the show is because I was not introduced as a kid to it by somebody who was like, hey, look at this great musical video that we have. Like, I was watching the recording of Into the Woods. You know, like, my family was like, no, that's bad, and I have 3 older sisters, and I was like, yeah, that's bad, you know? So I never, like, learned anything else, but it's really incredible, and I think it's something that we take on as performers performing the show, that a lot of the time Cats will be someone's first Broadway musical or first musical in general, because people know that it's something that kids can take in, and it's a very different, like, they made the movie, but, like, being in the theater with the green eyes all around you and the cats coming out, like, what a way to teach a kid that, like, theater is something special and different. So I think it also carries on this great love, and we should, you know, applaud it for that.
Yeah. To that point, like, that was well deserving.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut that that applause off. I saw it when I was 11 with my dad. I saw, like, I think it was the 4th or 5th tour. I can't remember. It was like 2005. It would have been the 5th tour. 2006, something like that. Yeah. And I didn't get it at all. Like, I still, like, cohesively, it didn't make sense to my dumb little brain at the time, because I was like, it didn't have a linear storyline. Like, it didn't have something that you could, like, follow along. And I think that is what put people off, because there's few shows that are just like, you have a million wonderful, amazing things to say, and you say none of them. And it's just like, so you have to, like, really, like, make your own sort of opinion as to, like, kind of what's happening in front of you. There is, like, when you sit down and research it, like, yes, like, it'll start to make sense, but 95% of people that go see theater, they don't do that. You know, they just go and they're like, okay, entertain me, you know? And I, like, for the longest time was like, yeah, that's a bad show because I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I don't need to, I'm never gonna do this show. Like, I'm not, like, I didn't understand it. The only number I remember was Tugger, and the only reason why was because he came out into the audience, started dancing with people. I'm like, that is funny. And like, that was something I was like, I want to do that. But other than that, I don't remember a single thing. And like, then I got to do it, and it started making more sense. I'm like, why don't more people like this? Like, this is unlike anything else. And I think it's just because, like, if it doesn't immediately make sense to you, you just like you shun it away, like you push it away. And there's people who find like themselves in like each character of the show. Like you can really follow a certain path, or you can like make your own opinions and stuff. And it's so open-ended that there literally is something for everybody in Cats. And there's few things that actually do that. And now in my like dumb little 27-year-old brain, like I see that more, and I'm like, this is something that like we desperately need to keep alive, because like it's starting to get to the point where like our attention spans are getting so like, let's be for real, like they're getting smaller and smaller, that like I'm like talking in circles even like with my attention span. I don't even remember how this sentence started, but like I
find it along
like
the way.
we need that like to exist. Like we need that sort of like, you are as much of a part of it as the people who wrote it. Like the fact that a fan base took this and like we have stuff like this podcast, or like you have the theories and the art and all that stuff, is like there's very few things that can do that successfully, and this is like so killer that like that happens.
I had the same and opposite reaction of you, because I saw it as an adult, and I walked out with like same thing. What did I watch? I couldn't follow it. I only remember Mungo Journey Rebel teaser because I realized as I saw it recently, it's the only time that it's only two cats on stage for the most part. Other times I was just like sensory overload and couldn't process what was happening. But then I went home and I was like, what did I just watch? I need to know more. And I researched, and that's how I ended up here today. A long journey here today. But that's the same thing as like, I walked out, I was like, this is the strangest, weirdest, I don't know what happened, I don't know the story, I don't even know why this cat went into a tire at the end, and that's the only song I knew from the show when I walked in, because I knew nothing, and I had just moved here. But anyways, okay, we have your votes for Jellicle Choice, because you all have been on the show before, so I've got 2 Gus votes here. I got a Skimble vote here.
Come on, Tugger.
You voted Grisabella, so
did
over
I?
time, it's been a couple years now, have I changed your mind? Or are you still going to stick with Grisabella as your Jellicle choice?
Yeah, I'll stick with Grisabella.
Okay. I've been recording more of these, trying to slowly convince you that that's not the right answer. Okay, by show of hands, do we have Grisabella as your Jellicle choice?
No.
I got 1, 2, 3. Okay, and any other
She
cat?
goes through the biggest character arc, arguably.
Okay. Gus, I got a Gus vote. Who else got? Gus.
I'm totally
We got
Gus
Gus
votes?
right
Okay.
over here.
I love it.
Get that
My
man.
thought is this man has been in the theater for 9 lives. Let him rest. He's tired.
I love it. Well, I'm glad that this audience is voting more against Grisabella. That is my goal, is to slowly convince everybody. We'll keep talking, Jonalyn. Thank you all. How can people find you on social, see your new show?
Yes, you can find me at JK Saxer on Instagram and at Princess JK Glitter on TikTok. And then you can come see me in Back to the Future. I play mostly all humans, so that's great.
Great news.
But 2 different old ladies, so you can come see me.
Again, I'm Will Anderson. I run the Theater Lovers on Instagram and TikTok at @the_theater with an ER. My apologies. _lovers.
Okay, hold on.
A lot of theater lovers.
We don't have time for that debate.
That's a whole other panel next year.
Yeah, you can find me at Hank Santos on a lot of things, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. It's at 7 in Summer on TikTok. I'm sorry. And yeah, man, boost my stuff. I'm trying to play a human again. Oh, catch me in Pretty Woman on tour in the fall. Also,
That's super exciting. Also the other half of the Theater Lovers. And ER, it's Theater ER because it matches Lover ER, okay? You know when you pick a handle and you're like, I won't ever regret this for any reason, and then you're stuck with it because you have a following? It's only God.
That's everybody in their 30s and 40s' screen name from their AOL days.
Yeah, exactly. It's locked in.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network and BroadwayCon for having us. This has been super fun, and for everyone listening to this as a podcast later, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Wrong Cat Died, and now Threads, on Threads too.
We love
all
Threads.
social media at The Wrong Cat Died, and check our website, thewrongcatdied.com. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for hosting.